The most engaging and growth content is the stuff that you are afraid to share. The creative idea that you've got there in your mind that like, oh, I could never post that. Like that's the thing to post. And then that's the thing to post consistently. And that's what will draw you in. Like your humanity, your vulnerability, those stories are the things that will make people love you and want to dive deeper into your world. This is where people struggle. Is like, how do I be the expert, but then also show that I don't have all the answers and I'm still afraid? A lot of people, like if you look on Instagram, it's just that everybody looks perfect and the branding is perfect and the cars and everything is perfect. When you're too perfect, people actually can't connect to you. They need to know that you're a human. And in your humanness is the permission for people to actually listen to your advice. You might have all the best advice in the world, but people won't listen to your advice until they know that you're like them. So the question today was from Chris, who said, what do you believe should be our area of laser focus for online businesses for the balance of the year in terms of engagement and growth? I think the biggest thing there is just actually posting the content that you're afraid to post. Like sharing the story, the message that you've got that you're afraid of being judged on, and post. This is actually really timely because this morning in Movie Makers, Zen, before anybody showed up, Zen played this song called Pata Pata, which is this South African song. The artist was known as the Mama of Africa. And I love that song. And it's a cha-cha song that Nina and I danced to a lot. And Zen didn't know that I liked that song. And so after we got off Movie Makers, that song was just in my head. And so I decided for some reason that I needed to learn the lyrics of that song because I kind of hummed along. You know, when it's a song in a different language, you don't quite know what they're saying. So I was just, and there's like one line in English, so that's the one that you always get. Anyway, so I then committed an hour today on a day that I don't have an hour to learn the lyrics of Pata Pata. And I started filming it on my Instagram stories to ask for help. Like, does anybody speak this language? Does anybody know? Because it sounds like some of the syllables she's saying, she's skipping it. She's not actually saying it. So I'm stressed out. Like I'm trying to figure out, how do I get this song out? And now I'm asking for help. And then I keep at it, slow the song down to 50%. Slowly going like syllable by syllable until I finally feel like I got it. So then I share, guys, I think I got it. I think she's this THI is silent. And then I keep practicing. And then I get to full speed and I film it. It's like, here I am full speed and I'm rocking out on my trampoline, singing Pata Pata and, you know, in this language I don't understand. And then I get so animated that I hit my phone and it falls down. And that's the end of the video. And I shared the whole thing on my Instagram story. And like, that's the type of content that people don't often get to see. That's the kind of content that we're afraid to post. That's the kind of content that we're afraid of being judged for. It's like, I thought you're supposed to be some business guru. What are you doing spending an hour learning some song? That's the thing that humanizes you. The question was about engagement and growth. Like that's how you get engagement and growth, is showing the human side of you. The thing that, if that was me 5 years ago, I would have been incredibly embarrassed to share that. I'm singing. I don't have a good singing voice. So I'm singing out loud to some language that I don't know, probably making mistakes all over the place, dancing on my trampoline and smashing my phone over, right? It's like the most imperfect thing ever. But that moment of creativity and posting, people are already DMing me with like reactions, laughing, celebration, party, more than a typical story would get, more than just a, guys, today you need to focus. Let me talk about focus for the day, right? So the most engaging and growth content is the stuff that you are afraid to share. Your story, creativity, the creative idea that you've got there in your mind that like, oh, I could never post that. Like that's the thing to post. And then that's the thing to post consistently. And that's what will draw you in. Like your humanity, your vulnerability, those stories are the things that will make people love you and want to dive deeper into your world. It doesn't mean, this is where people struggle, is like, how do I be the expert, but then also show that I don't have all the answers and I'm still afraid? A lot of people, like if you look on Instagram, it's just that everybody looks perfect and the branding is perfect and the cars and everything is perfect. When you're too perfect, people actually can't connect to you. They need to know that you're a human. and in your humanness is the then permission for people to actually listen to your advice, because people won't listen. You might have all the best advice in the world, but people won't listen to your advice until they know that you're like them. And so that's the content that we're the most afraid to share, because we don't want to go back to being that person. We're embarrassed by this stuff about ourselves. But in sharing that is the thing that opens up the world to you to get that growth and engagement. So back to the question of what's the most engagement content for the rest of the year, that's what I would focus on. The stuff that you're afraid to post, sharing your story, taking me deep inside your insecurities, vulnerabilities, show me you doing the things that you do that make you human, that people really connect with. That's my thought of the day with your questions. Now, obviously, turn it over to you guys. So put your hand up, try to get to as many as I can. Niles already got his hand ready to go. What do you got, man?
Thanks. This is awesome. And I love that. This is, that's something I've been struggling with, I'll be honest with you, but at the same time, and so I'm going to ask a technical question. I asked you this in the past somewhere else, but when it comes to the actual tracks that you use, because my background, I love to dance. Dance fitness is actually my background. And now I'm moving somewhat away from it, but I love it. And I still want to show that playful side. And that was a big part of my life. So I want to be able to show that. Again, technical side was the actual, I love that. You're dancing there. The idea is, technical side, how long is a track allowed? Did you use the real track or did you get an edit of that actual song? Because I love that song too, but I'm not that I'll use it. I want to get an idea of what will actually put a red band against me if I did something.
Yeah, great question. And Niall, if it becomes your business, then you start doing the research and the work. Some tracks, some companies care a lot, some companies care zero. For me, because I'm not in the music, like music is not my game. I just recorded it on Instagram. It was an IG live story. And those don't get typically picked up or banned or anything. If I were to turn it into a YouTube video, it might. I don't know. Pata Pata is a pretty obscure song that most people don't really know about. But if you pulled a Taylor Swift song, it's probably going to get blocked or demonetized, right? Those are the two options. Either block it or they demonetize it. So at the beginning, though, don't let that stifle the creativity. I was feeling that song because Zane put it in my head. So now I have to dedicate an hour to figure out the lyrics to this song. And I was frustrated and I slow it down and I speed it up. And then I finally get it. And you get to see how happy I am that I knock over the phone, and it's just so exciting. And that will live fine on Instagram. And even if it just disappears in 24 hours and I don't do anything else with it, awesome. If I download it and turn it into a YouTube video, maybe that gets blocked and it doesn't see the light of day. But if I'm going to keep doing it, then I'd have to pick songs that are going to get through. And that becomes the business, to know which songs get through. But at the beginning, don't let those questions stifle the creative output. Because if I spent that time thinking, I wonder if this song is going to get blocked, I wonder if this is going to, then I don't make the song. And then that moment is gone. Right. So we just start overthinking right away from the beginning instead of just creating. And yes, you'll make some mistakes. I mean, I didn't mic myself up. I didn't set up the camera when I'm doing the full shot. I'm only on like the bottom half because I don't have the stand to make it happen. Right. Overthinking all that stuff then leads to the creativity going away, and then nothing gets created instead of this magical moment that was created. Right. So
fair enough. That's
if it's
awesome.
going to be your business, you have to know it.
Of
Otherwise,
course.
Go create, go make. You'll learn as you go.
Yeah. Thanks, Evan. Appreciate it.
Cool. iPhone has her hand raised. Welcome, iPhone.
Ivan, this is the first time I have the courage to show my face.
Hey, she's doing it, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Good job. I love it.
I love salsa. I'm in Vancouver, Canada. I dance every weekend on the beach.
Nice.
So, yes.
Salsa on the beach is hard.
Yeah, we have a concrete lake floor.
Oh, okay, good. Because salsa on sand is, you can't turn for anything. So that's good. I love it.
Yes. I'm following you on the salsa scene as well. But my name's Olivia. I've been hiding, but now I'm coming out. But there's an opportunity to partner with company. I'm doing international. My dream is to do nursing training, and I know that my purpose is aligned with this company's purpose. They have a little size, like Presence Christian Missionary training healthcare workers, but not nursing project. I'm expanding their market to China. But we've been talking for a few months and they're not paying me anything. And then now they give me I asked for Zen, the man don't sign a non-disclosure agreement. They want me to work exclusive with them without a pay structure or a partnership contract. But it is my passion, and I've been trying to take off for over 10 years, and I couldn't by myself. Should I just keep on serving them and giving them for free, or should I say draw a line on the sand, say either you pay me as a consultant or an employee, or let's draft up a contract?
So first off, I wouldn't sign an NDA that prevents you from working with other companies, because your passion, I would split this up. Your passion is to be in this space. Your passion isn't to be with this one company. There's lots of companies who you could do this thing with. Your passion is to be in this space. So anything that prevents you from being in this space, that locks you into one company, especially unpaid, I'm not a fan of. If you look at what I do with YouTube stuff, I've seen everybody's channels. I don't sign NDAs for anybody. When I was in the venture capital business, I saw so many deals of different businesses. We never signed an NDA because it becomes your reputation. If you screw one person over or you share details of somebody, that damages your entire reputation. If Zen, the man who's the built to serve coach, if he's out sharing, oh, you know what Olivia said to me in our private session last week, it's then it's over. His entire reputation as a coach is gone. You have to keep information confidential. That becomes your reputation. So definitely taking anything out that's exclusivity. I like the idea of doing free work at the beginning. If people don't recognize your value, the thing with free work is you have to do free work with ideal clients. So at the beginning, you're doing the free work, you're building up a reputation, you prove yourself, but is this an ideal client who can ultimately pay you? And they might be doing the ideal work that you want to get into, but they may not be the ideal client for you. Yeah, you're already shaking your head. So yeah,
they were like, we don't have any funding. And I was like, well, let's draft we split the cost and the revenue. And they were like, but we don't know how many students you can get and market. And so there's nothing set. Yeah, go ahead.
So you want to be in the space, and doing free work is great to start, but they have to be with ideal clients. So if it's not this client, then it's finding more people. Now you have something to show. Now you've done it. I mean, it's great. Don't feel like you made this terrible decision. Now you've got some experience in the field that you can point to. Now you've built some extra contacts and connections. Now you've built some momentum, and you've also shown to yourself that you really do like this. When you're just looking at it, you don't know if you actually love it, but now you're in. It's like, I actually do love this thing. Now It's a matter of finding more companies to work with, not being tied down to this one client that doesn't, it's not even it's not having funding is one thing, but also not being willing to work something out. It's a mindset shift too, right?
Yeah.
Those are not the ideal clients that you want to be chasing down. So if I'm you, be looking at, okay, who are 10 other companies that are trying to do the same thing? And how can I go and prove myself at the beginning, even if it's free work, but that I provide so much value that I want to work with them. Even using Zen as an example, he joined my YouTube gaming live streams where we play League of Legends and answer questions. And he brought so much value that then I'm looking for, how do I help Zen out more? I love this guy. I love collecting good people. How do we do something together? So the first starting point was connecting with other people. I connected him to Jason. It's like, hey, you need to do an IG live with Jason. Who's Jason? Don't worry about it. You're going to love him. He's great. You guys will get along great. You both have the biggest smiles in the world, the biggest hearts in the world. You'll love each other, right? So he's like, all right, IG DMs Jason, and they do their thing. That then led to Zen, becoming the Built to Serve coach. So that's doing free work and building your reputation to the point where opportunities happen. But if the people in the company aren't giving you opportunities and are just making you work for free and sign non-disclosure and exclusivity agreements, it's just not the right fit. So now it's just branching out. Find 10 other companies who are doing similar things where you can come and bring your value to, help them, and then work your path towards getting paid for it.
Yeah, there's a thing about Christian. It's a lot of volunteer serving. It's just not the business mentality. And I really want to combine the two, but it's hard to find in a space. Maybe it's just my scarcity. I thought, oh, they're Christians, values are aligned, so yeah.
But listen, there's a lot of people who will have values aligned that just may not be a Christian organization. Like there may be there's a lot of for-profit companies run by Christians who have strong values. Right.
Okay.
And so those are the people who you might want to search out instead of always living in the nonprofit world. I love nonprofit. I love free. Like, what are we doing here? This is free. You guys bought a book for $15 or something, or some of you might have just pirated it. But in order to do this, in order to do the free stuff, you have to also have an income stream to support you and your organization. And the more you build up an income stream, the more your team can also contribute. Sandra, my assistant, is in here and she sets all this stuff up for me. So I can afford to hire her to do this, to allow me to come here and do this. Right. So there's lots of organizations who are making money, who also, like, not every company has a devil soul, right? They're living the mission, the values, but also are making money and would love what you're bringing. You just have to do the work to go find those people.
Thank you so much. You're amazing. Yeah.
Cool. Good luck. And hey, welcome. Thank you for turning on your camera for the first time and asking a question. That's great. That's what it's all about.
Thank you.
Who's next? Jose, what do you got?
So great to see you. Just want to ask I have a couple of questions, but I'm going to ask one now. And if there's more time and I can come back to it, great. In the book, when you talked about when you left your first company with your partner, and then you realized what you're going to do, you decided to model the success after Bill Gates. And you talked about how you focused on forming partnerships and alliances. And I just wanted to get maybe a little bit more feedback on that. Like, specifically, I'm in the process of starting a nationwide quick service restaurant with a healthy approach. And so I've been one way that I formed a partner in alliances was bringing into a fold an old business colleague who has over 20 years of marketing experience. And I partnered up with him to kind of help me in the forming of the company and being partners. But I'm trying to figure out just a little bit more on that. Like, if you were starting a quick service restaurant, I guess, what might be some of the partnerships and alliances that you might look to form?
So what I meant in the book wasn't so much bring a business partner into your company, because that's like getting married. So most business partnerships fail because people look at, well, they have this skill set and I have this skill set. It's going to be perfect. Meanwhile, your values are completely different. And so you're in the dating phase. Hey, you have 50, I have 50. Let's start this company together. But because the values are a mismatch, it really is like you need to date before you get married. So I'd be, it's not that partnerships can't work out. Just you need to treat it like it's going to be a marriage. You might spend more time during the week with them than your husband or wife, right? That just the reality of starting the business. So you better really like them. So it doesn't mean don't make that partnership, but I would test something small. Work on one thing together before you go and do some big thing together. Like, what's the first step that you guys can take together? There's a guy who emailed me to say, hey, I want to help you with your email marketing. Okay, great. Write me one email and see what it looks like. And I liked it. So then I hired him to do 10 emails. Okay, great. So now we're going to see what he comes up with for his 10 emails. And if maybe the more people hang around me, the more I just start businesses with them. Right? It's like, this is what I love to do. Zen now has a business together. Drew has a business together. Like Alex, all these people, like, the more time we spend together, the more I'm looking for opportunities. And it just gravitates towards doing some kind of company together. But it always starts with something small at the beginning. Okay. So that's what I would do with him or her, like something small at the beginning to make sure that you work well together.
Well, he and I, like I said, we've had a long-standing relationship for about 15 years and we've worked together. And so, yeah, I'm figuring that out and I definitely value that feedback. But in terms of like the company itself, like how would I go about then let's say procuring types of partnerships and alliances that would be correct for the brand that don't involve equity and partnership?
Yeah. So you're looking at, how do I start? For me, if it were me, how do I start this business spending the least amount of money possible? Restaurants are the worst. It's like, it's the number one failure business in America. And especially now, right? So I'd look into what Mr. Beast is doing. Ghost kitchens.
That's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a ton of sense. Find people restaurants are struggling right now. You find the companies who can make your product, whatever you're selling, whose ethics and values kind of fit with what you're doing, and find a way to connect. You don't have to worry about going like nationwide yet, but you start. What city are you in?
I'm in Philly, and I'm looking to open either in Philly and or Miami.
Yeah, but like do Philly. You're in Philly. Don't worry about Miami. How are you going to do Miami? You got to be in Miami. Like you got to make it happen. Philly's a big enough market.
Definitely.
You're not in some tiny little rural middle of nowhere, right? So you're in Philly. So you want to actually go and meet restaurant owners and pitch them the idea. And the model's already been proven. People are already doing this, and restaurants are struggling right now to figure out a business opportunity. And if they can make some extra money without having to do, a lot of extra work, they're not spending any time marketing. They already have the staff and the team and the ingredients and everything else, right? That's your best bet. And then prove it in Philly. And then you might need 5 locations in Philly and then worry about Miami. But I'd probably go somewhere closer to Philly just for your own sanity and traveling and all that stuff.
All right. Thank you so much.
Makes sense? How's our time? Lady, Lexi, quick, what do you got?
I was asking you something about the extension. And then I asked you about .club. And you said, no, .club is for Clubhouse. So are the only ones suitable the ones you end with .com for general websites? Or can we also use, for instance, .live?
.com is just the standard. That's what people, I would default to a .com if you can, or put your name. Just find some way to get a .com, like a .live. So I use evancarmichael.live. We have one. If you want to go to my live gaming channel tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern, you type in evancarmichael.live, it'll forward to the YouTube stream. Especially with .live and in Movie Makers, you asked about .club. .club, the perception is it's a Clubhouse thing. .live, the perception is it's a live thing. So if you're going to be if it's Lady Lexi .live, the perception is you're going to lead me to a live stream of some kind. It's going to go to your Instagram where you're going live, or a YouTube channel where you're going live. But if it's just a website and you're not going live, it's just a disconnect. So I mean, .com is ideal. If you're going to go .net or .us or whatever, it can all still work. I think honestly, the website is becoming less and less important. But if you had to pick something, I would go.
.com is taken. That's what the thing is, and I can't reach the owner.
Yeah.
So she just transfers it to her Facebook page. And I know there's also the live with an F. And since I always talk about Lady Lexi's Live on the Road.
Yeah, Lady Lexi something. Lady Lexi, whatever else, .com. And so if you really want to chase it down, you can. I mean, Brendan Burchard tells the story of it took him 6 years, I think, to get Brendan.com.
Yeah.
Where he just every 3 months emailed the guy again, like, hey, if you're ready to sell, hey, if you're ready to sell, hey, if you're ready to sell. The guy who owns Evan.com is not using it. It's forwards to some hotel in Germany or Russia or something. I don't know, or maybe Holland. I don't know. It just forwards to someone. They're not using it, right? But I don't care enough about Evan.com. And if Evan Carmichael was taken, I would have it believe Carmichael. It's like it almost doesn't matter. More important is you creating the content, building your brand. But I think the only thing you want to do is not create confusion. If you put a .club or .live, it creates confusion.
True.
It's like the name. I don't think a company name really matters that much. Like, what did Evan Carmichael mean before Evan Carmichael? What did Xerox mean? Like the guy who made Xerox picked his name because he wanted a name so difficult to pronounce that once you got it, you wouldn't forget it. Like Xerox is crazy. What kind of name is that? How do you pronounce that? You look at it on the sheet, you have no idea what that means. But once you got it, you don't forget. Jason Wells, right? Everybody messes up Jason. Nobody puts a Y in Jason, right? It's a weird spelling. But in his branding, it's all about the why. And so you remember, oh, why? Because his purpose-driven brand helps you figure out your why. And so his why, he made that work for him. So Jason Wells with the Y now is easy to know that that's who it is versus any other Jason out there. So the brand is what you make it. You just don't want to have, when you attach yourself to something that already has meaning, it means something. When you create something brand new, you can attach the meaning you want. In American, election debates, the presidents or the president-to-be always has the pin of the U.S. flag because the U.S. flag means something. So they're trying to attach themselves to that symbol. So when you're using symbols or extensions that have meaning, you have to make sure you match the meaning. Otherwise, you create a new symbol. The airplane means something to me. I mean, it might have some kind of meaning, but in general, people don't really know what it means. I'm assigning meaning to it. The name Evan Carmichael, I'm assigning meaning to it. So I'm okay with anything. Pick whatever you want. I just don't want to confuse people in the process because you're picking a name that doesn't represent, or like an extension that doesn't represent your actual brand.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
From Laura, how to start creating content online to build a community. You've got this, right? I mean, if you're here, you've got this. This is what you need to start looking at, the last section, the thought leadership section. That's your starting point, right? So I want you to make content around your who, your why, your how. That's why I wrote it here, because I want you to have the tactical steps for what to actually do next. So it's great. You find your who, your why, your how. Like, okay, I'm purpose driven. I'm mission driven. I know what I want to do now, but what content do I make? Like, what's my next actual step, right? So looking at the thought leadership content template to try to master it, it takes a while to get. Even if you've done videos before, it takes a while to get. So it's worth practicing. But taking people inside your story, because ultimately we're trying to help the people who currently are who we used to be. Right? Your mission is to help people who are like you. I was just doing an interview and the guy said, I love momentum. I love momentum. I'm addicted to momentum. That's what I really love doing. It's like, okay, you love momentum, but what you actually really love is not you just getting momentum. You'll love helping other people get momentum. You want to help other people get momentum. And then he's like silence as he's kind of absorbing it, right? But that's ultimately, like, we want to serve. So whatever you want, I want to spread belief to the world. That's what I really want, right? I want to believe more in myself, and I want to spread belief to the world. There was another guy who came on and then said, well, what if you love playing violin? So go recognize that you don't actually love playing violin. You don't love the instrument. You love the feeling that it gives you. Like, you picked up the violin. Why? Because it made you heal. It made you get over some trauma. It made you a better person. Like, somehow playing the violin helped you as a human. And so if you're going to help other people, maybe it's teaching them violin. Maybe it's playing and performing violin. Maybe it's being a violin coach. But it's not the violin that matters. The violin is just the instrument. And it's actually an instrument. But the violin is just the tool. It's the emotion behind the tool. You want people to feel more X, and violin is the way to actually make it happen, right? I want people to feel more belief. And I do it by sharing the videos, because that's what helped for me, learning from successful people. All those, like Bill Gates and his story, that's what really saved me when I was getting started. So now I try to give that back and also do things like this and try to be here, because this is when my favorite thing to do when I'm traveling is to meet up with local entrepreneurs and just have a coffee shop jam session. So every time I'm traveling, and now I haven't done it for a while now because of COVID, but normally anytime I'm traveling, I try to book an extra day if I can, to then have the next morning before I fly out to have a coffee session, and I'll email anybody on my list. And maybe somebody paid like a couple $1,000 to be in the main event that I was speaking at, but then anybody can come to a coffee shop. You know, if you're homeless, we've had homeless people show up. You don't know they're homeless, but they're homeless. They can show up and not even buy anything and sit and still enjoy. That's still my favorite thing to do, because I like seeing the faces, and I like seeing people win, right? I want to spread belief to people. And so, same thing for you guys, whatever your who is, you want to spread that to the world. You want other people to feel it too. Zen wants more confidence from himself, and he wants more to have other people feel confident. And if a conversation with Zen leads you to having more confidence in yourself, that's going to make Zen come alive. He's like, yes, This is why I do this. Joey's asking, how do you choose to remove videos as you get better at producing higher quality videos? You leave the old ones. Should we? Yeah. I love leaving the old ones. I hate that people delete videos. I would never. The only reason to delete a video is if it doesn't represent your beliefs anymore. Like you made it from a really negative space and it's not who you actually are. Not because of poor production quality. Because if you think about what is your message? What's your message that you want to share to the world? So, mine is believe. Hopefully you've gone through the exercise and you found yours. But is your message going to be don't do anything until it's perfect? Like never release anything unless is that going to be the message that you want people to feel? Is that the message you would tell your kids or the people around you? No. So you don't live that, right? Like you're hiding all of the imperfect things. So then people only see the perfect. You're basically saying, okay, I only make perfect stuff. Where I don't like looking back on my first videos. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, I missed the hair, but besides that, it's so bad, nervous and memorizing and all that stuff. And it's cringe worthy looking back on it, at least for me. But I like that they're still there, that you can see where I came from. Because I think that actually I could say I'm introverted and shy and I was afraid to be in front of the camera and I struggled. I can say that, but you can go back and watch it. Like, don't believe me? Go back. They're all there. Go back and watch my first videos. You see how bad they were. See how the camera was shaky. See how I didn't know what I was saying. Like you can go back and see it. And most people don't, but some people do. And I think that journey becomes the inspiration. So as long as you're still proud of the intent of that video and that you did the best you could with what you had at the time, then I would keep it up. If you find that the intent was now wrong or something you're not proud of, I would still probably leave it up anyway. But I've always made intentional videos. I think it's just if it was a reactionary video, like somebody said something on the news and you got triggered and then you made some video and now you're not proud of that video because the intent came from a negative place instead of a positive one, maybe in that scenario. But otherwise, if the intent was positive, I would keep it up. And be proud that you made that you did that. Like as much as the content of my old videos is a little embarrassing to watch, I'm still proud that I did it. I don't even know how I did it because I'm shy and introverted and I couldn't do it with my sister in the room or just, how did I do it? I don't know. I just did it. But that's just a reminder of the growth that kind of we've come through. So as long as you're still proud of the intent, I would do it. What else? Working on being perfect might lead to never bringing a service to product to the public. Yeah, I mean, I think that's it, 100%. In the last interview I was doing, somebody was asking what's the most common bit of advice that you see from successful people, and number one is always love what you do. Like you have to love what you do. People just think they're going to win doing work that you hate. You're going to give up. So you have to do the work that you love. You enjoy the process. Well, I do this. Like, why am I here? Because I love you guys, and not even like you individuals. Although I know some of you and love you as humans, like individuals too. But just this idea, this being here. When Andrew said most authors don't do it, because they don't actually like it. It's just it's a launch strategy, right? And then I like it. It's fun, right? So and it's not like right or wrong. It's just when you're doing the thing that you love, you're going to have a better chance of winning. But the other thing is starting. You got to start, you got to make, you got to create. People are asking what platform should I be on and what camera gear should I use? And in all the time you spent thinking about those questions, you could have already made 10 videos. It's like, just get the videos and you figure it out as you go. Really. I mean, there is no perfect start. There is no perfect platform to be on. You have to create, you have to make, you have to go. Somebody asked me this on Clubhouse. It's like, you've been thinking about starting a Clubhouse room. Great. You thought about it, so now you have to do it. But I don't know what day, and I don't know who to invite, and I don't know, none of that. Make your first, just go, open a room. And if nobody shows up, then you're talking to yourself for 10 minutes, and then you close it. Like your first video needs to be that. Your first video needs to be, hey, it's Evan. I decided to make a video today because I want people to believe in themselves more. And I don't know, I've never done a video before, and I don't know what I'm going to talk about. But I got a message, and yeah. So first video done. Believe, right? Post next, right? And the next one becomes a little bit better. I think we're just overthinking way too much. That sounds like my first video, says Belinda. Yeah, I love it, Belinda. That's what I'm talking about. That should be your first video. Like, if your first video doesn't suck, then you suck because you waited too long. Then you should have done it 3 years ago, right? Like, your first video is supposed to suck. That's the point. I know we're at time, but one more question. What we got? Trenton's asking, how do you start doing less, like doing the work / task that actually matters? I really focus in on my calendar. So your calendar is your daily actions, right? You can have goals and dreams and ambitions, great things you say you want to do, but it's really about what are you taking action on? So your calendar really matters. Next, I pay attention to energy zones. So today's a Thursday making this. Thursday, I'm doing all day. It's my extrovert hat on. So I start with movement makers because that always gets me feeling great and energy and love and vibes. And then I did like 3 shows before this in between. And after this, I'm going until 9 o'clock at night, right? So it's like whoosh, straight. But I'm always in the energy zone of just spreading the message. Today is public facing day, spread the message. And then every other day we'll do, like yesterday was totally off. Yesterday, I wake up like, it's my project day. What do I want to do today? Totally open. Because Tuesday was YouTube day, banging out crazy videos. So on Tuesday, I'm not thinking about Readers Club, right? And today I'm not thinking about YouTube videos. So already just not having a distraction in my headspace really helps. And you may not be able to plan your whole days, but planning whatever time you can control, having a plan for that really matters to stay in the energy zone. So if I'm making 1 video, I might as well make 8 because I'm already in the same zone to be able to make the 8. So that's kind of macro when you look at your calendar and you see like, hey, do my actions map to my ambitions? Then on the inside of that is how strategic do you want to be on each day? So on Thursdays, do I do readers group? Do I do movement makers? Do I do this interview? Who do I say yes to? Who do I say no to? What helps? For me, I'm probably not strategic enough. I go off a vibe. Like, I like this person. I want to do an interview with them. And I don't check how many followers they have and how many episodes they've done. And I could be more strategic with that probably just in terms of getting the results, but I just like people. I just like picking people off a vibe. Like, I like how they messaged me. I like the words they used, like Lisa Nichols saying, I received that, it's just like, they say something that sticks with you. It's like, man, I like this person. We could make some good content together. So I'm going to say yes to them, even though I have no idea who their previous guests have been or numbers or anything else. But that's me. That may not be the right thing for you, but that's what works super well for me. But definitely ambitions, and then having it in your calendar, and then constantly evaluating your calendar to see if it's helping you get to where you need to go. Well, welcome aboard, guys. Good to have everybody back.
Thank you.
Today's topic was interesting. It was giving yourself permission to live out your purpose. Man, it took me a long time to get comfortable with being upfront, with being the guy, being in front. I used to always feel like it was an ego trip, that I didn't have to be famous. I had no need to be famous. I fought with my agent for years on it. And it wasn't until I really realized that sharing my story was actually selfless, that people could see themselves in me. If they don't know your story, they won't listen to your advice. You look at Evan there, the other Evan, not this Evan. We got Evans back to back, but Evan looks like he's got it all together. He's all figured out. He's got this nice shirt on and the pictures behind him. And he looks like he's got it all figured out. And imagine if the guy who you see in front of you is making videos about how to get out of alcohol addiction. You're like, yeah, but you don't understand me, dude. Look at you. You've got this fancy life. You've got it all figured out. Meanwhile, he knows. He knows exactly what it's like. And so until you share your story, Evan sharing his story, me sharing my story, you guys sharing your story, it's not about you. It's not about people just praising you for what you've come through. It's about other people being able to see themselves in you. That people won't listen to me as much for getting out of alcoholism because that I didn't struggle with that. That wasn't something that I had a challenge with. But Evan Tinsman, he did. And so if you didn't know that about him, you wouldn't want to listen to him. They got another guy telling me what to do. He doesn't get it. So that's why it's super important that you share your story and give yourself permission to share the story. That if you guys can pick that up quickly, that's amazing, because that literally took years for me to figure out. Years of fighting, years of pushing by people close to me, like my agent, who's like just frustration on his part, I'm sure, to slowly convince me. And it wasn't until I realized that, hey, sharing my story is actually serving. And we go through it in Built to Serve as well. There's sections on that, but yeah, giving yourself the permission to do it is super valuable. And anyway, I hope that meant something to you. I hope that helped you. Anyway, the point of these sessions is, yes, kind of lead with a quick thought like that, but I want to be able to help you guys out. We've turned it into little mini live coaching sessions. Whatever you're struggling with, however I can help, get your movement off the ground. Let's open it up. What do you guys? What's going on? How can I be of value? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, let's go.
I'll go first.
Belinda.
So I know that when you first started, you did all the promoting and content for your videos and, for your stuff. At what point did you hire somebody? And now when you hire somebody, what exactly do you have them to do? Like if I were to hire somebody to do my content, do they actually create the content, not the videos, but the content and edit? That's my question. Two questions.
The first person I ever hired in my business, this wasn't my business, right? The first person I ever hired was to do data entry for me, because I hated data entry and he was actually much better at it than I was. And so he took 2 hours off of my table and he gifted that to me, and I paid him, and it only took him an hour because he was faster and better at it than I was. On the YouTube side of things, the first hire was an editor, part-time. And this really comes down to, like, what do you want to be great at? So there's no right or wrong answer. It's a right or wrong answer for you. I did not want to be great at editing. At the very beginning of things, I like messing around with stuff. I like playing around. I like seeing the ins and outs of it. And so I quickly picked up Movie Maker, which is probably the most basic video editing software that you can use. So I picked that up, got used to it, but then quickly realized that I don't like this. I'm not good at it, and I don't like it. I wasn't good in front of the camera either, Belinda. I mean, if you watch my videos, I watch it back. It's like, I'm not good at that either, but I like it. I want to get better at it. I want to improve. Video editing, I didn't like it, and I didn't want to get better, and I didn't want to improve. So I knew that would always be a limitation for me, that I would force myself to do it if I had to, but as soon as I could get that off my plate, then I would. So the hiring a part-time editor was my first hire. And I think a lot of you don't have to hire full-time. You don't have to just go out and hire somebody full-time to help you. You can hire somebody part-time, project work, a couple hours a day, or even a couple hours a week, depending on what you're doing. So it's really figuring out, what do you hate the most that has to get done? and then working on that. So for me, it was editing. Now when I hire, it really just depends on what the need is, right? We've got 30 something people on the team. So, if I'm hiring somebody just to be in charge of my LinkedIn content, that may not be the best strategy for you for where you're at right now. But if anybody's trying to be in front of the camera and that's where your genius is, then editing becomes the fastest one. So it's editing, part-time editor, to then full-time editor, to then he got kidnapped. So I had to get another editor. That was a crazy story. He just disappeared for 3 or 4 months. This guy was super reliable, always on time, and then just dropped off the face of the map. And then he came back 3 or 4 months later and said, "Sorry, Evan, I got kidnapped." Okay. It's crazy, right? I need some personal time. I mean, I'm home now. I'm safe. I was held for ransom. Yeah, just crazy. But in that period, where is he? I'm sending messages back and forth. Nothing happened. And then I found Christina, my current editor now, who's been with me for I don't know how many years, many, many, many years. And then we hired her husband. Then I hired a researcher so that we can, again, slowly niching down, what do I want to be great at? I love doing the research on the videos, but I love being in front of the camera more and spreading the message more. So then I hired somebody to help me do the research. So you slowly take away the pieces of what you don't like doing or don't want to be the world's greatest at, so you can focus on what you could be. Does that make sense? All right.
Thank you.
All right. Good.
Actually, question myself.
Fonda White, dude, I didn't even recognize you with that hat on. Fonda White in the house. I love it, dude. That smile. What do you got, man?
But I was just wondering about YouTube, and I know you always said, create content every day, but I'm actually, my YouTube channel and my videos, I'm actually doing the editing and everything myself. So it's not difficult to do it every day, but I guess there's ways to, do it every day when you're doing everything,
Don't edit.
Yeah.
No, so like for your ambitions, like Fonda wants to be a speaker. So the skill, so if you're making a video, how long does it take you to, a typical video, how long does it take you to record it versus edit it and do all the other stuff with it?
Record it, not so long, but editing probably about 30, 40 minutes.
And how long to record it?
I do little clips. So each clip is about, my videos are no longer than 6-7 minutes.
So if you're spending more time editing than recording, you're spending all your time training the wrong skill.
Right.
You want to be spending more time speaking. You're trying to train yourself to be a great speaker. This is, just imagine every time you pull out your phone or whatever you're using to record that you're on some stage. That's the skill you need to develop. So if I'm you, I would do 0 editing.
Okay.
To train yourself that from the second you press record, that it's like you're on stage. Because when you're on stage, you don't get editing. There's no editing.
Yeah.
So it's a good skill to practice. Like if you only train yourself that I can only be a good speaker and deliver a message when it's been cut up and edited, you're never going to be great on stage.
Right.
So treat every video like a stage work, whether you're in your room there, whether you're walking outside, whatever. I still make videos from my phone in my car for my channels. Nina's going to Costco. Great. Film. Start recording. Rise and shine. It's espresso time. Let's go. 0 editing.
Okay.
Because what's going to get you to the point where you can then hire an editor? It's not going to be you producing a video every couple days with your kind of crappy editing. Right? Yeah. And I'm not trying to insult you. Just
no, I get it.
Be honest, right? Like you don't want to be a great editor. So the thing that will get you to the spot where you can hire an editor is the speaking, because that's what you want to be great at.
Right.
So if you're anybody here who wants to be a speaker, you need to be putting up daily videos practicing you speaking. Erasmo's got his hand up and a thumbs up. Like every day I need to see you speaking, because you'll get discovered through those videos, that then you get paid to go do speaking gigs, that then you use that money to hire a team to now help you edit the videos so that they're crisper. But no editing is going to save you if your speaking sucks.
Right.
And if your speaking is fire, it doesn't matter what kind of editing is on it.
Right. Yeah.
Like nobody's tuning out because, oh my God, this guy doesn't have lower thirds on his video. Are you kidding me?
Right.
I'm out. Right. It's like, can you speak to their soul? That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So 0 editing. I've just given you more than double your time now to actually go and make videos.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Cool, man.
Hi, Ivan. This is iPhone here. Sorry, I'm not camera ready.
It's iPhone. Welcome, iPhone.
I'm your fan. So I'm an international nurse, and I would like to write a book to write my stories. To what extent I should review my stories and the other technical part of my nursing experience? What is the perfect balance and mix to relate with my audience? So
if you go through the thought leadership template in here, you'll see that story is super important. It's not the whole thing. Like it shouldn't be half your story if you're not writing a biography, but the story has to be at the beginning as a setup. Because before they're willing, and this is for Fonda making videos, all of you, if you're making any kind of content, I have to know your story and where you come from before I'm willing to listen to your advice. So you might be able to say, hey, here's how you do X, Y, Z, which is what all of us just want to teach. That's in our hearts. Like you want to teach, you want to help, you know, you have knowledge that can serve people. You just want to tell them 1, 2, 3, go do it. The problem is people don't do it. They don't do it because you didn't connect with them emotionally first. They have to know that you understand them, because when you give the advice, they just say, okay, easy for that person. Easy for you to say, you don't understand me, right? Back to the very top when I was talking about Evan Tinsman. So the beginning is the story, so that I know who you are, where you come from, that you're exactly like me, and then you achieved. And then the rest is going to be the tips, the advice, the tactics, the strategies of how to actually win.
Okay.
Daniel's putting on a new hat. Hustle first. All right. Hustle or hustla? What does that say? Hustle first. All right. I got it.
Yeah. Evan, just in following with that idea, would you suggest putting your stories out on a series of YouTube things, like if they were 2 to 4 minutes long? Putting your content into a story over 2 or 3 videos, or do it all at once?
If you have a sequence that you're going to put out in an email, for example, or on your website, for example, then that can make sense. But when people are just on YouTube, they don't consume video sequentially.
Right. Okay.
If you look at my videos, you haven't watched all my videos in order.
No.
I mean, there's like 6,000 or 7,000 public ones. So it might be scary if you've watched all of those. We have to do a competition, like who's watched them. I want to see your watch history. Who's watched the most videos from the channel? Yeah, first off, like a 2 to 4, Evan Tinsman is already claiming himself to be the winner. A 2 to 4 minute video is never going to do well on YouTube, period. Mm-hmm. But if you're embedding it on your website, if you're putting it as part of your email sequence for people who want to learn about you, that can work. The story bit, again, I would follow the model in Built to Serve. You're trying to teach, but inside your argument is a story that relates to it.
Right.
And you've got all of you have tons of stories that you could share. It's picking the one right story for this piece of content that you're about to talk about. So if I'm going to talk about YouTube, I have a story. If I'm going to talk about belief, I have a different story, right?
Right.
Same thing for me. I have millions of different stories. It's finding the one right story, but you wrap it inside of the theme and the content and giving advice at the end, not just your story and then hoping that they watch your sequence.
Yeah. Because I like that idea of having a hook at the end of it, just kind of say, bring them in. Okay, so now you've heard me, how can I help you? That kind of thing. I want to be there for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Evan, raised a finger.
Yeah, I was actually just going to share that I just put something out the other day. I don't edit anything. I just talk. But that's what I had a talk with that family yesterday. I had mentioned to you that they're actually flying me to Florida to help with someone, and they're paying me to do it, all expenses, from just a little couple minute that they followed me with my journey. But from that, somebody else had chimed in, and that gave me the topic of the video that I just did a short one today and I posted. So if you share something of whatever your personal story is and pay attention to your comments, people are going to start asking, because I did one on addiction, but then that turned into, hey, Evan, how do you handle like the stress and anxiety? And that's what led me to the one I'm doing now. So people's comments will pretty much tell you what they want to hear.
I love it. And listen, try to keep the videos focused and every piece of content focused. You have a lot of ideas. All of you have lots of ideas, lots of wisdom, lots of things to share. But if you're all over the place with the advice and the focus, if it's about addiction, just keep this one video on addiction. You can make more videos on other things afterwards. If it's about having a powerful morning routine, then that's the video. Just keep it tight and focused, and then people will dive into your world and want to learn more about the other things that you're doing. But I love that. I mean, congrats. That's the power of, like, if Evan didn't just release his video, and Fonda, I know you got a client from just your videos too on Instagram, like somebody, you DM them right, and they hired you, and what, for 6 months they hired you now to coach them?
Yeah, 3 months. 3 months.
3 months. Like, that's amazing. I love it. Like, you guys are getting business by just putting videos up on the internet.
Right.
But, if Evan didn't release that video because he didn't have time to edit it today, maybe he doesn't get that deal where now he's being flown to Florida. Right? So they're not hiring Evan because of his fancy editing. And if you watch his videos, it's great. He's either in his chair there or he's in his car. And those are most of his videos. And he presses record and there's him talking. That's what I want for all of you guys, to just release the burden. Just make sure there's some kind of light on your face, right? I mean, go to the window and have something in front of you. Make sure you're not in the middle of a windstorm or something. Super basic stuff, but you've got everything you need right here on your phone. Press record and go. Because you not producing a video a day might have already cost you 10 clients because you're worried about the editing. And that's not a Fonda thing. That's a everybody here thing. Raymond's done eating. Raymond's done eating. We like it. Welcome there. He's got Erasmo, you got a question or are you just waving hi? He's got a question. Okay, what do you got?
So Evan, when you say that you want to see us like speaking every day, for us that want to be speakers, like how long do you think the content should be? Or it just doesn't matter? As you go, you get comfortable and it will get longer? Or
I want you to practice 10 minutes plus, 10 minutes plus, 10 minutes plus.
Okay.
If you can go deeper and go longer with it, great. If you follow the template here, it's a little hard to follow the template by heart as you go through it. Yeah, I know you got the book. I know. But at the end, like the thought leadership template, it's hard to remember everything, right? It's hard to remember powerful opinion, context sentence, raise the stakes, tell a story, 3 bits of advice. I'm just nervous to press record in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Right. So at the beginning, just think about getting that hook at the beginning. Like, what's your powerful opinion? And then once you practice that, like if you're doing the 100 video challenge, just once you get that down, then the 3 sentences into a story. And then after the story, then you practice giving your opinion advice. If you follow that template, you'll have a 10-minute plus video easy.
Okay.
There.
Okay.
Daniel's holding up screenshots. I like it.
Okay. Thank you, Evan.
Yeah, 10 minutes plus is because it's great practice for YouTube. But for every video, if you just narrow it down to powerful opinion, story, and advice. If you're like at the very beginning, just think about those 3 things. I'm leading with an opinion. I'm going to share some kind of story, and I'm going to give advice. Right? Okay. So if Evan was going to tell the story about flying to Florida, what's the opinion at the top of that? The Florida story is the story, and then he's going to give advice. Opinion, story, advice. And as you get more comfortable with that, then you can work out some of the nuances that we outline in the book.
Okay. Thank you.
Got another call, Erasmo. You got another call. All right.
Man.
Raymond, what do you got?
Thank you.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Sorry, I was eating. I didn't eat breakfast. I've been on calls all morning. Something interesting, if you don't mind, if I could share, I just recently learned, and I haven't been doing my YouTube videos. I had to let go of my editor because we didn't see eye to eye and he wasn't in alignment with what I was doing. There's certain things that I learned. Like I asked him to take notes on 3 different occasions and he didn't. And then he did the things wrong. And I said, listen, I've asked you 3 times. I think we're done. I tried to do it in the Oreo cookie where it's like with a comment and then, praise and then, with what's wrong. But anyway, I've been on Upwork and I've been interviewing editors.
Okay.
Working to build relationships so I could do this, on my podcast. And also one thing I learned, I forgot, I think it was from Jenna Kutcher, that she said, when you do a video, keep sharing, like I've been sharing it on LinkedIn, like every 3 days. And because they say 6% of people actually see your videos. And so I did this. And I know there's scroll feed and all kinds of things, but I noticed just from doing that, if it's a good, decent video, my second podcast is okay. But I kept doing it, and I just noticed I would get more views and more comments, and people say, "Dude, cool, wow," engaging in the weird ways that we do. That's it.
What's the main message of your channel, Raymond?
The main message for the podcast is just working with people, inspiring us to become the best versions of ourselves, and learning from setbacks, failures, and gaining feedback.
Okay, great. So here's the thing. When's the last time you posted a video on YouTube?
A couple days ago.
So the whole fallout with your editor was recent then?
Yes. Yeah, well, he did it he edited a week ago, and then I was doing the YouTube stuff, making sure it was aligned, great people, to make sure I had the right information. But yeah, it was recent.
So I would say it sucks, but that's part of business. Honestly, it's probably in the first, you probably already knew a little bit about that at the beginning and you were trying to make it right. But it wasn't a fit. So you'll be better on your next hire. It's fine. And you lead with the mission. What's your one word? What's your who?
My who is freedom.
Right. So like freedom, you lead your Upwork posting talking about freedom, how you're trying to create freedom for yourself and freedom for the people who watch your content, and how you want to build a mindset of freedom in this company. So somebody who wants to have freedom themselves, that's who you want to bring on. So you're going to start attracting the right people. But you can't let this be a reason for you not to post content.
Right.
So you have to post to YouTube, because if your message is how to bounce back after setbacks, you got to demo it. What are you doing? You're not posting videos. You're in a setback.
Yeah.
Your video was, hey guys, it's Raymond. This looks not like my usual video, but I have a setback because somebody on my team left. But I don't want this to define me and not have my videos go up. So if I lost my whole team, I'm making videos, dude. They're going up. They're going up.
I felt, and I was using this as an excuse, kind of like my message wasn't clear, compelling. Like I wanted to script it, so I'm hitting on points, but I believe I was letting that get in the way.
And it's not that you can't work on a better script and improving, but not at the expense of videos not going up.
Understand. Thank you.
You got like Fonda's got to get his videos up. Does he have an editor? No. So he's going to do it himself, or just no editing, get it up. Like videos have to go up. Release the perfection inside.
Yeah, like Evan even said, just do like a Canva pic and then just do like a video and then that's it. And then just keep doing that until, we'll fall into place, I believe. I believe that's what happens. Stumbling blocks turn into stepping stones. But yeah, 100%.
You can always go back later too as you grow and fix all your old thumbnails and titles and everything else. But the thing that will get you where you need to go is you releasing content. So videos have to go up. Everything else is secondary. So if you're giving it, well, I could do a video every day, or I could do a video every 2 days, but have it with a good title and a good thumbnail and edited video every day.
Okay.
To start training that skill, to get better at that thing, especially when your message is how to bounce back after a setback.
Yeah.
You got to demonstrate you doing it. You're in the middle of it. I got a setback right now, guys. And whatever's going through your head of like, I'm worried that you're not going to like it. I'm worried that it's not edited well. I'm worried that my message isn't concise without somebody cutting for me. But whatever, I'm not going to let this hold me back.
Do you talk about the setbacks or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. That's
personally.
Yeah. Like,
dude, did you watch me make videos with my broken neck and like giant scab on my face? Like every day I made videos with a concussion, like not even knowing what I was saying.
Yeah. No, right.
I mean, Evan saw me on that tour where he saw me on the first day where I was fine. And then on the last day where I ended up passing out on the floor afterwards because it's just that insane trip that I was on. But I broke my neck in 2 spots and had a concussion and said I was making videos every day. And I still, even if it was for 5 minutes, would make a video.
Okay.
With like a huge scab, like giant on my forehead, sitting there in this neck brace, not even to be able to see properly, and like oversized Nike pullover because I couldn't fit into this thing, propped up with like pillows behind me and ice packs. Dude, but I'm so proud of that. I still keep my neck brace here on my shelf. I'm proud of struggling through it. Is it my best content? Hell no. No, that's not my best content. But like I did it. And for people who are going through the journey, that's an inspiration as well. The people will see you and say, wow, look, he's doing it too.
Yeah.
Because when somebody loses someone on their team, what are you going to say? You say, oh yeah, I get it. I did the same thing. And I was like, no, so you lose someone on your team, you keep going. Here's what I did.
Yeah. I mean, I did. I moved forward and then I started putting out LinkedIn intern ads. So I am moving forward. Just sometimes I know it's slower but you're right. Video every day.
It's always slower than you want.
Yeah. Like,
It's always slower than you want. Everything is always slow. You want it yesterday. Dude, I want everything yesterday. It's always slower. And you get up and you keep doing something today.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. I would say that's the best advice you could give us for the week coming up. I mean, if my volume's working, why not? Like, throw it out there and give us something to, I don't know. Just you're right. We have to overcome struggles and pour struggle into what we're doing. And I know that's how it works.
Honestly, the best advice is like to get the content up, whatever that looks like for you. Not everybody has the ambitions to go daily yet. That might sound crazy for some people here, the idea of making daily content. But if you're struggling to make one a week, then one a week. no matter what. You're struggling to make 3 a week, then 3 a week. You're struggling to make daily, then daily, no matter what. Like even just show yourself for a week. You film yourself there in your living room making content, even though normally you'd be somewhere else with the lighting set up and whatever. Like just don't give yourself the out of, I'm going to keep tweaking and keep making it perfect. Having a deadline. Like we keep trying to make our videos better. Intros, music, sources, all of it. Always trying to hack it to make it better. And there's no way that a video is not going up today. So when you start with that as the basis, like a video has to go up today, period. Or if that's a post or if it's an email or whatever that equivalent looks like in your world for everybody here, it has to go up. It has to go up. And then inside, what's my best effort? And maybe your best effort is just you in your room doing it. Maybe your best effort means you can throw a little bit of graphics on it. Maybe you're dead tired and you had a crazy day, but your best effort is you lying in bed saying, guys, I suck. I'm so tired right now, but I had to make a video. Post, right? And that's your video. Like legit, that is your video and you post just to get it up and build that muscle. Whoo, guys, thank you for the love. Amazing, super fun. I have to pop. Zen and I are on tonight. If you want to join in at 6 p.m. Eastern on the gaming channel. Yeah, we'll be back again next week. I love doing this. I love hanging out with you guys. It's fun to see repeat faces and also fun to see some new faces. If you're on next week, bring your questions again. I want to see you get your message out there to the world because you got goodness in here, but it can't just stay here. It's got to get out there, and we got to overcome our fears and overcome rejection and overcome all of our insecurities to actually get that out there so we can start actually have an impact on the world. I love you. Have a fantastic end of the week, and we'll see you next week. Much love. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
We love you.
If you want to get a copy of Built to Serve and join us live for our next training with me to ask your questions, you can go get the book right there next to me, right there. I'll see you there. I'll see you to get the book. It's a good one. Much love.